And for the intro, we're going to go ahead and have Nap wrap it. So take it away, Nappers.
Jeez.
Welcome to the 175th episode. No, it's not really 170th episode.
I thought you were going to do it.
No. Welcome to the 170th episode of SAWDUST NATION podcast with your hosts, me from Naps Naughty Works, LLC, Josh from North Country Woodworking, and AJ from Crafted NJ. It's like AJ is coming back, but not really. But he's here. We appreciate him being here. He is our third host at the moment.
You never know when I'm going to pop in.
Dude, it's like a surprise. Like I was like, oh, sweet, AJ's on. I won't feel weird.
Is.
What the hell is that? What? I know there's the third eye and the temple, like in the forehead here, but like the googly eye though, like it fell off. Night, you know,
it didn't last long.
A new dimension. But hey guys, we're just gonna be here talking about whatever comes to mind. We got some questions to answer, which is pretty cool. A little bit more going on in my shop. Josh said he's been pretty busy lately. And then AJ, long time no see. It's only been an episode, so I know you got a lot going on as well.
2 episodes, I think.
Has it been 2 episodes? Okay, listen, time's blurring.
Maybe
together.
3, to be honest.
No, because it was me and Josh last week. Then Daniel was on the previous, and then so it would have been 3.
3, 4. Who's counting?
Dude, time is blending together. It's like I don't know what was it like. What's that one movie where he goes, "When the F did we get ice cream? Was I sleeping?" It's kind of like, when the F did we get to episode 170? Was I sleeping? I might as well have been.
Yes.
And I can't wait to tell you guys about my damage story. It's going to be great. That's why my name is Damage in here. It's great. A shipment didn't go.
Yeah.
But I got good resolutions on that one, so we'll talk about that once we get there.
Someone had a craft fair too, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Not yet.
What?
No. See, if you if you were a loyal fan of mine and watched my stories,
fan.
You would know that that it was postponed.
I haven't been on Instagram in weeks.
Do you see this face? I haven't even posted.
So it got so the one down in the Pine Barrens, it was supposed to be a tropical storm was going to roll in, and let's just put it this way: all the way up until Thursday of last week, I was sweating bullets because they were saying we're going to go gun ho, we ain't stopping, we're going to have it. Now,
Hurricane
forecast
party!
The forecast was saying 15 to 20 mile an hour winds with heavy rain. By Thursday, it said 25 to 30 with 40 mile an hour gusts and heavy rain. And I'm like, there ain't no way that they're still going to have this thing. The tents are going to blow all over the place. So I sent them a message. I said, look, I'm going to back out. I got to drive. I got to drive like 260 miles round trip, and it's going to be like 5 hours of my time round trip. So I said, I'm not going to do it and risk it. And then they got back to me and said, we're going to postpone it until the next week. And I'm like, well, that's the smart thing to do.
Thanks, guys.
40 mile an hour winds. Imagine that they'd set the tent up and they turn their back and the tent would just go gone.
Even worse.
Yeah, exactly.
All your projects and everything you did to set up, all that hard work, gone with the wind.
Now you got more time though.
Oh yeah, but that only works if I utilize that time, because I got another week. So, my brain goes, start Friday,
Honestly, man, like, we talk about procrastination every time you're on because it's a very relevant thing.
Yeah.
And you are like the master at it, but I think I'm closely mastering this. See, I've been able to gauge how hard a project is and how long it's actually going to take me to do if I just hunker down and do it. Right?
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, I can wait until Sunday to start this. And then like 6 hours later, I'm done.
Does that time frame include, difficulties and things that might pop up? And
No, because in your brain, you go, everything's going to go smooth. Nothing's going to happen. You don't?
No. Matter of fact, sometimes, depending if it's a new type of job, like the relic card, I make like 3s. Because if I mess up the first one, that sucks. If I mess up the second one, I'm an idiot. If I mess up the third one, it's not meant to be. I've only ever gotten to the second, we'll say backup, if you will.
Okay.
But that's not for like, we're talking like base pieces. Like, so like my relic, I'll use the relic card for example, just because that's the one I've done recently that I almost screwed up. The base is easy. It's just a piece of walnut with some carvings in it. It's when I get to the pieces that go with that start to get crazy. I can make 2s and 3s of those because those are quick to make. So if I break one, it's like, oh, okay, chisel out, throw you against the wall somewhere, not the trash, just on the ground, and then go to the next one.
Yeah, that works. Tripping hazard, whatever.
Just you shut your safety-minded self up, okay? Like, listen, you're not at work, okay? We know that you don't wear iPro in the shop. We know you don't wear your dust mask all the time, so I don't want to hear it, safety guy, unless you're doing the safety.
What I do in my shop is not recorded, so no proof.
Unless you're doing that, like, whatever. But anyways, sorry.
I'm going to take a video with all my PPE on and doing a little jig just for you.
No, absolutely not, because I know it's all a ruse.
A lie.
But no, I feel like certain things I've definitely been able to not start right away, which I'll talk more on Shop Talk. But anyways, AJ, freaking blown away tents and stuff. You didn't build a barricade to keep yourself safe. So it's postponed. When do you do it now?
This coming weekend. So Saturday I'll be going down, and that's the only day I'm going. I didn't want to travel back and forth, and I wanted to see what it was going to be all about. Last year they said they had a great turnout. So I said, let's just try it one time this year. And then if next year comes around and it was really good, then we'll do both days. But
solid.
Were you done with your shop talk? I thought this kind of just got thrown in my lap.
No, I was just bouncing around on the procrastination stuff.
We're just shooting the poop.
Yeah, the breeze, the stuff, the things. He just called the shit poop. I mean, what? You know the movie. Come on.
No, I don't, actually.
It's Billy Madison. Come on.
No.
Light a bag of dog dung on fire, and he goes, it's poop again. And he goes, he called poop.
Nope.
What?
Sorry.
Josh?
No.
Oh, you're looking at AJ like he's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's messing with us.
No.
Okay, so are you not like, okay, serious question. Are you an Adam Sandler fan?
No.
Okay, that's why.
No. It's overplayed. Once he did, what was it, Mr. Deeds? Yeah, I don't know when Billy Madison came out, but
way
I
before.
could care.
That's like his early stuff. We're talking like Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, and I'd say Mr. Deeds is like the trio, honestly.
Yeah, I would venture to say that he's probably the same character in every single movie that he's ever done.
Actually, he's expanded his horizons a tad. A little bit of weird uncut gems. That was a weird movie. Very interesting. But yeah, I would venture to say he's roughly the same character.
Yeah.
Still funny.
So I apologize that I couldn't understand your Billy Madison joke.
It's okay. Listen,
at least you and Josh laughed.
I mean, I laughed, but more laughed at myself now because like you didn't understand it. So,
well, this got awkward. Going back to Shop Talk.
Turtle swimming fast.
You're not turtle enough for the Turtle Club? Turtle. No?
Anyways.
Anywho. Josh, if you keep licking and sticking, it's probably going to just stick forever.
And this is where I leave. Thank you very much, everybody. Nap is out of here.
And we took a turn to SAWDUST Nation After Dark. Welcome to our first episode.
$25.
That's it?
Yeah, that's all.
I am not showing these for anything.
I don't think anyone's going to pay $25. You might have to knock that down to maybe like 50 cents.
You never know. There might be some curious people out there.
I don't think so.
No, okay. Anyways, going back to the Shop Talk.
They'd pay you $25 not to do it.
This is like Alice going down a rabbit hole.
Freaking rude.
Anyway, yes, the craft fair is scheduled for this coming weekend. I also have two of them. No, I lied. One in the middle of October, one at the beginning of November, and the end of November. So I got 3 that are going to be very local to me. So I got a lot of craft fairs coming up and just a whole bunch of stuff to get done. I'm also going to Maker Camp in early October. Yeah, I think it's like the first weekend in October. And I'm trying to get some things done for that as well. So I got a ton of stuff to do. Like always, you were just started talking about it, Nap, about procrastination and whatnot. At some point, I want to get into that on this episode. But I want to hear about what's going on in you guys' shop because Nap says he's taking naps. Josh says his third eye is doing something.
It's googly.
and seeing others. Not posting on Instagram, not watching my stories like a dedicated fan. I watch yours, but whatever.
Joke's on you. I've posted like 2 stories.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I posted a story, so joke's on you.
Josh, do you want to go or do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll take it since, Anyway, yeah, I went in the shop, looked around, came back in. No, I went in the shop.
Hey,
wow.
UPS, but that has actually happened where I was like, like you turn the CNC on, you're like, do I want to mess with you today? No. I gotta finish these things. No, I don't want to touch the fuck. Screw this. I'm going inside.
Yeah, that has happened. No, I don't know. I looked around and I was doing things around the house, and I'm like, I really got to get some of this stuff knocked out before I do get orders someday. Maybe, who knows?
Takes time. Man.
Yeah, I know. I do have an order to fulfill. I just have to go get the lumber, and I'm just telling you, it feels like every minute of my day has been accounted for the next week. But long story short, I went in there, and people that have been following me and following the podcast for a while know that a long, long time ago in a state far, far away, I went and I bought some cookies from Jersey Wood Forever, Micah, and there were some maple, beautiful maple. It was like 2 trees that grew together, so you had a little bit of a void in a certain area. And, through the years, I used the pieces for cutting boards and different projects. And at the end, I had like 1 piece left. And I didn't want to get rid of it because, like, I had plans of making it a coffee table or a side table or doing something with it. And I kind of had like a vision for it. And when we got here, I found the way our couches and everything set up, there's a perfect place for it. So like I said, I just, had a day to go in the shop, got in there, started working with it. I've already leveled it when I was in Jersey. So the only thing I really had to do was do some sanding, fine tuning with it. I already took the void and cleaned it out. So I had the kids go find some really cool rocks around the house. And I had some moss from another project I wanted to do already in the shop. And I filled the void with moss and rocks. And I went ahead and poured some epoxy. Of course, I ran out of, truck tape? And I used
tuck tape.
Tuck tape.
Tuck. Oh, like tuck tape?
Yes, like you do on the after show.
I don't care what you do in your pastime, man. This ain't that show. Anyway.
I was saying you tuck in your shirt, and that's all.
Don't do that either. Well, I guess I do that every day.
Wow, you don't do that and you're a safety man? That's unsafe.
No, we have to in a uniform. I just never think about it that way. Do you?
I know. I tuck my shirt in all the time, even my pajamas.
That's just weird. Anyway, now we know. Okay, anyway, so going back to the story. So I had them pick out some really cool rocks. Kids love rocks. And then I had some of the moss, and I poured the epoxy. I used regular tape on the man, I lost words today. Some tape on the bottom. I was hoping they would stick. It did somewhat, maybe just enough. So it stuck enough where some of it dried and sealed the bottom, and some of it spilled out. So I had to clean that up a little bit. I texted Nap and showed our text chat room, whatever. I was making a mess. Kind of broke in the shop a little with that. Some lessons learned. Have the right equipment for the job. We all know that, but sometimes we try to take corners, and I could have been done with this already. Anyway, so it's turning out really good. Took some time doing the pour. I mean, it wasn't a very thick pour. The void is pretty narrow, but I did like a ½ inch at a time, and finally got to the point where I was able to seal the bottom after some sanding. Sealed it, and then I have sealed the top. I just need to do the edges. And my plan for the edges, essentially, I'm going to do a tabletop pour, and that's going to cover, the top nice and level, and then it's going to cover the actual sides as well, and it should be done. I already have the legs. They're going to be the standard pin legs. and I'm gonna throw them under there, and it'll be all done. But the way it looks right now, because I wanted to seal the whole thing off because it's all edge grain. I wanted to go ahead and flood it essentially a couple times with a couple coats and get all those cracks filled in before I did the tabletop pour, so I'm not battling that the entire time. I want to do that once. But it really, oh man, it's a beautiful piece. I almost regret not doing this earlier with the rest of the pieces because it is just gorgeous. And it wasn't as bad as I thought. I have not worked with epoxy to this level in a very long time. And I think it was kind of some of that was holding me back. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the process. Totalboat epoxy, you just can't beat it. I have no issues. And when I do have issues, it's easy to fix, honestly. But yeah, so that's the project currently going on in the shop. I will be getting the CNC up and running, doing some test carving and stuff like that to see where I'm at with that. The laser, I have new lenses for, so I'm going to replace the lenses. I'm going to go through and align it, get that pretty tuned and ready to go and start doing some projects. I'll be doing the safety patch, which for our Patreons and everyone out there, that's what it looks like.
Nice.
So right now they have one of these stuck like on a pillar that goes into our office. And that's the first thing you see. And I'm like, no, we're going to do something better than that. So my hope is I do something like that. People see it as they come in and out. They're going to, make a comment and I can go from there. I checked out the Arts and Crafts Center here in Base. And I do want to say something that I never thought I was going to say. They have some nice things. So
okay.
They
Right.
actually
To be
have,
fair, not every arts and crafts place is, well, as we say in the biz, not up to par with quality, okay? Some places are pretty nice.
yes, some of the stuff they're offering is, is decent. Like I would expect it to be for the price they're asking. Some other things could use some cleaning up and work and refinement. But they have Epilogue 120 watt in there and they have a 60 watt. So they have some nice equipment, better than I've seen in the past for this kind of place. I was casing the joint, if you can't tell. So looking around, seeing what kind of things they offer, if it was similar to stuff I offer. And there was a couple things similar and whatnot. But the way I do it and the way I present things is different. So I think we'll be okay there. I do have to make a couple of projects here and there just to start posting about them. And, I have things and materials right now I could utilize to kind of make things in advance, like, different badges and stuff like that. I haven't really tapped into what people are getting for going away here. So, because I haven't seen that yet, or for any kind of awards or what have you. I've been approached a couple times by other people wanting to do trunks, and that's great. But everyone that I've talked to is like next year or in 2 years. I'm getting approached. I must have been pretty busy in New Jersey, but a lot of people have been approaching me and their due dates are like so far in advance. It's like, yeah, we can talk about it. I can kind of guide you to what you want and get a price, but like it might change price wise next year depending on lumber. So I mean, not getting the jobs I thought I was going to. I haven't reached out to my former clients yet saying I'm open. My website saying that haven't opened yet. There's things I could do to help that. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm enjoying the freedom. I'm enjoying going in there, being like working on something for the house and stuff like that. I have a project that is due, and I can get working on now, and I'll probably be doing that. But the shop, as far as how it works, is working really well. I built my miter table. I had it on some sawhorses, and I just looked at it and I'm like, you know what, I could do better than that. I have some scrap 2x4s, and that was kind of what I'm trying to get away from, was like building something quick and easy. But I was able to build something that was much better than its predecessor and works the way I need it to work, and stable. I mean, like, it wasn't moving at all. Like, there's no wobble, nothing, and as it should be. But I didn't have to buy any lumber for that. It was all lumber I came here with, nothing out of pocket. I used velocity screws, which I've had, and I was able to utilize those. And as always, they never cease to amaze. I mean, like, the capability they have is pretty amazing. And if you haven't used them, you should. You can find them in Lowe's and I think Home Depot as well. But yeah, so I was out there. I was doing some stuff. Not at the pace I'm used to, which is kind of nice. I could stop, come in with epoxy pouring. I was able to pour some epoxy. It came in, spent some time with the family. I'd go check on it, if it was cured, or go back out there, do another coat. But yeah, I haven't taken any pictures and videos of it yet because I've been enjoying the process, but I will at the end. I definitely like the look of it, and I think I'll be doing more things like this with different types of rocks and more natural look with epoxy. Am I going to get a retirement job at the arts and crafts store? I don't know. I could, I guess, but I have, I think, better prospects than that. So we're probably going to go with a no. I think I can do a lot better with the stuff I have, and probably get a better GS job than what they're offering. And then the other question is, if someone comes to you and wants something that's a year out or more, do you take the job? Do you buy the materials? Do you get paid up front? So I can kind of answer this. When I was in Texas, I actually was approached by someone that wanted me to do their shadow box. And we went through all the details, and I always ask what the due date is. And they're like, oh, 2 years from now. We've talked about this a couple times on the podcast. So I accepted the job. I said, look, I'll try to get it knocked out as soon as I can. I'd rather you guys get it up front. You can hold on to it. You can put everything in it, and you can, store it away, do whatever you would like to do. And they, I put a down payment on there so that they'll hold their spot in basically my queue. That way, if I did get, inundated with a lot of jobs, I could definitely have them aligned. And then they paid the rest of it when I told them the shop was open and I can start working on their project. A lot of people don't mind getting it early. That's really never an issue too much. I've come across, never issue I've came across too much. There are a few that they want it for retirement and they want it closer to the day they retire. And that's something I could schedule out. And it's something like I can work with them to design something, get it close to the price, give them an estimate versus a price so that it gives me wiggle room depending on what's going on. And then offer a time frame like, hey, this will probably take me a month, depending on what it is. Get with me a month prior to your due date. And if so, give me even more than that if you can. And that way I have plenty of time to complete your project and send it out, and we all are happy in the end. I try to deal with it that way. That way I'm not taking money and then forgetting I get the job. And, it's just easier that way. But what about you guys? Have you ever come across something like that?
I mean, I've had customers reach out. I just recently had one that bought a flag for somebody retiring, and then he called me, I don't know, a month later and said, I'm going to need one, like, I don't remember, maybe next June or something like that. And my flag pricing is kind of the same for the most part. It's gone up, but right now I could probably quote somebody today for a year from now, and it would relatively be about the same. Unless for some reason, the wood skyrocketed and went up really, really expensive. Because the wood that I'm using isn't really that expensive anyway. So, but I have had people reach out and said, hey, I need it 6 months from now. And I'm like, that's fine. They order it. And now I'm like, oh, I got 6 months to do it. And then I wait until a month left and then a week left. And then I start on it. So my issue is I don't like those kinds of projects. I'd rather have more of a tight deadline. Just that's how I work. I work better under pressure like that. But I think that was like the only one that I've ever had reach out and said I need it like a year or a really long time out from here. What about you, Nap?
So I haven't gotten any jobs that are like a year out, but I've had a few that are like a few months out, right? So the shadow box that I recently sent, that was 4 or 5 months in the making, and I didn't start working on it until like the month prior. I also knew the person. I worked with them for like 4 years, and I was like, yeah, man, I'll get to it, right, about a month prior and whatnot. And, he paid me right up front. They even paid me a tip and didn't even get the box yet. Like that was
Wow.
like, that's how much they believe in the product that I produced. So, I mean, I'd say that's about as far in advance as I've ever gotten a job. But the minute he paid me was the minute I went and bought the material. Because at the end of the day, if I have the material set aside, like, okay, cool, this is for this job, it's paid for, I'm not going to lose money here. Okay, cool, awesome, boom. Now I have, besides his job, a couple other jobs where I bought materials in advance, but then someone needed like a rush order. And, I got paid for the rush order. And like you said, tight deadlines. I like to have a deadline. I hate when people give me the when you get to it type jobs, because when I get to it might not be 4, 6, 7 months, because when people pay me for jobs right up front that aren't, hey, when you get to it jobs, I don't typically do them right away. I actually have 2 jobs like that now that I've had for a minute, and the guys understand, between the fact that, hey, I still have a business to run, and it's not an immediate, like, I need this right now thing. It's like, hey, man, when you get to it, cool, it's just gonna be a piece of decor for either my office or the house or whatever. It's not a big deal, and they don't hurt me for it. But I've had customers, and it's funny because when Nick was on talking about these things, he'd get people that would order things that were like a couple months, in advance, and they'd be like, so where are you at with my project? He's like, well, you're in the queue, and you're not quite there yet. You're not quite at the part of where I'm getting the material, sourcing material, and then making the project. But as far as like a year out, would I take one of those jobs? Sure. But the thing is you're probably going to wait almost that whole year before I even get to it, because, it's not the priority. Yeah. And I let the customers know that if they do order in advance, like, hey, just so you know, you're ordering it this far out, I'm going to get to it probably a month out, and sometimes 2-3 weeks out, because shipping has actually been fairly reliable as far as time is concerned. Josh laughs, but I had a rush job. What was it? A little baby podium. I made one before, but he had me make another one. He's like, hey, can you make this in like a week? I was like, sure. I had to put all the other jobs down to do that job. But they paid me. So it was like, okay. And they paid the rush fee. And I was like, okay, I will get this done, because it was something I knew that it wasn't going to take me very long to make. Yeah. But yeah, like you, I prefer deadlines that are like, hey, a couple weeks, a month, maybe at max, and then I can start working on those things. But the really far out jobs, those are hard to manage, I think, personally. I carry forward, like I use maintainer speak. When you're doing jobs, you have delay discrepancies, you carry those forward until you get them done. Well, when I'm in my planner, it's, okay, I can't get through this month, so carry forward to next month. Okay, well, I can't get these done, so carry it forward again to the next month. So that's kind of like how I keep track. So I never lose track of my jobs. Like, I know I have them. They don't get them right away. That's all.
I lose track of mine because I keep them all up here. Every single job. I don't think I've written. I try my hardest to keep them all organized and written down and whatnot.
Didn't I send you a Excel product for you to keep track of stuff on?
Yeah, that was, I think, jobs that were already like paid out or something like that. But that was a while ago too.
Yeah.
But you were saying, the no deadline orders. Those are literally the worst. I have right now one customer that's been waiting over 2 years for his flags, and he ordered three flags, a couple of like standalone patches and whatnot. And I've talked about this 1,000 times on this podcast because it's been in the queue forever. And I told him, I said, the only good thing is now that the flags have evolved so much from when you ordered them, you're getting better, a more superior product. And he's a friend of mine, so I'm I'm not even upping any of the pricing or whatnot because he was worried. He's like, I might have to cancel a couple of them. I was like, look, you ordered them. I know you. He's helped me out. And I said, look, I'm just going to keep him as is. But he's still patiently waiting. And then I had 2 others that said there's absolutely no deadline. They left me alone 100%. They never messaged me. They never checked in, nothing. I was the one who reached out and was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's been like, it's been, look,
it's okay. It's okay. Listen, these days, I got to say real quick, like off the cuff podcast? That was when you were doing your recording. Yeah. Listen, if it slips, it slips, we can beep, it's all good.
Well, so I reached out and was like, I am so sorry that it's taken me almost a year to get your stuff done. And the guy's like, oh, it's fine. Just send it out whenever you send it out. And one guy actually paid for his in full. So, and he waited and never messaged me once about it. And I sent it out to him and he was happy about it. And then the other guy, he's like, I got to come pick it up one day. You just hang on to it. I was like, all right, whatever.
I do not like holding on to finished projects. I have a fear that if I hold on to them, they're going to break or something's going to happen to them. And I want it, when I'm done with a project, it needs to go.
I've had 2 projects actually for one customer who's been sitting here probably for about a year and a half. And I got them done and whatnot, told her, and they're just sitting here. She lives up the street, but I just forget about it.
Just put it in a box and put it on her porch.
I always forget about it.
Literally after this podcast, just take it up there and knock on the door and be like, I know it's 11 o'clock at night. Here's your project.
Did I ever tell you how much I don't like talking to people? I would rather leave it on my driveway so that they could come by and pick it up. That I don't like talking to people. I don't like having to go there and then BS with them. Oh yeah, look at the work I did. Just pick it up and go.
Ring the doorbell, run away.
No.
Ring the doorbell, run away.
My luck, I'd probably fall down the stairs.
Okay. Ring the doorbell, fall down the stairs, run away.
There was another thing. God, you were talking about it. I don't remember if it was rush orders or whatnot, but the problem with me is I can get an order today for something maybe just, let's say, a couple months from now they need it. So they need it by Christmas. Actually, I already have one. A lady came by. She wanted to see flags in person. And so she saw them. She ordered it. And she says, I don't need it until Christmas. And I was like, no problem. I have plenty of time to start it. My brain automatically went to, I need to start this thing ASAP because it's something new. It's a new job. It's not the mundane stuff. And I got to just slow my roll a little bit because I'm in craft fair season right now. So I have to prioritize that. So even if I don't sell all that stuff, at least then I can keep going to the next craft fairs with it. But if I don't work on any of this stuff, I won't have anything to bring to the craft fairs. So it's like, it's a real balancing act with me because I want to start that new shiny thing, but I still have all that other stuff behind me that I haven't started. I'm off of work this week and I was like, I got a week. Yeah. It's a long story. We won't get into it.
Okay.
Just know Kim put her foot down at work and said, I needed a week off. And then I got roped into it. So I'm not complaining. I love this. I love being home. But I have a week off. I could do so much stuff. And what's today? Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I barely did anything in the shop because I lost all motivation, every ounce of it. But yet I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to go down in the shop. I'm going to have every day.
Man, I'll call you tomorrow and remind you that you have something for me due tomorrow, the next day.
It won't matter. I know I got nothing due for you. I got it all locked
I'll
up
order
in this
something
safe up here.
with a due date every day. And
you got to put different names on it. I'll catch on.
I'll play Nick. Nick like doing stuff like that. Not necessarily to be mean or anything, but to be funny. But I think we all have. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go.
I think we all suffer from procrastination or like due date syndrome, or just like, I think makers in general. Everyone I talk to, I haven't run up to too many makers, and started this kind of conversation, and they're like, yeah, as soon as I get something, it's out. And it's like, I think we all do it, especially because it's our, it's in our off time. Sometimes it's hard to get motivated. Like you're saying, you probably need those days to recover. I mean, yeah, you might not be doing shop stuff, but it's good on you and your mental and physical health to recover a little bit.
Is it though? Because when I sit on the couch, I can't. I constantly go through. I need to be downstairs. I got to be working. I got to be doing something else. Now, I hate even mentioning this because it just I have this train of thought. But I'm 35, almost 35, and for almost 34 years of my life, I have been the exact same way with procrastination, and I could not understand for the life of me what was going on up until recently. And I would get scolded by my mother with it because schoolwork was the same way. I would wait till last minute about it. And I went to my therapist who I was going to, and I just talked with him and I was explaining everything. And he looks me dead in the face and goes, "You have ADHD." And
we're not going down this path.
No,
if my wife's listening, she's going to chime in. Oh no.
Look, I'm not laughing at age. I'm laughing at Josh. Is like, oh no.
Why?
Because how can I put this? There's not a time or place where it's quiet in my brain. I verbalize.
I'll tell you right now.
Like we're having this conversation, and yet I'm thinking about things I need to do at work here, everywhere else. I have a conversation in my head while I'm talking, like, but I will never admit that I have that particular. No, it's just no, just the way I operate.
No, you know what it is?
It's a white piece of paper.
That's what all three of us have it.
I don't know what you
mean. I'm diagnosing man. You two over there.
Hey, listen, to be honest, man, without going to a doctor and then telling me, I'm fairly certain. High functioning, but yes.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly it. But everything that Knapp has said, I'm a certified therapist, uncertified, but everything Knapp has said is exactly what I do. And Josh, your brain never shuts off, just like mine.
Oh, yeah.
So welcome to the club, buddy.
This. Question for you guys. Did you know there's people out there that have, like, there's no voice or things going on in their mind? Like,
she's right upstairs.
How does that work?
I don't know. Dude, okay. I go ahead, and then I got another stupid story.
I don't draw plans out because I could do it like in my head. Like I can actually take a picture, turn it. Like when I think of directions, I don't think of street names. I literally think of like, okay, if I go this way, I'll see this, that, and the other thing, and like from memory, plan out the route. Like it asked me the street name, I'll be in trouble.
But I have very good memory with a lot of things. There's most things that I can't remember, but I can remember. I can remember directions. I could remember a lot of stuff at my job. I can remember how to do a lot of stuff here. But once you ask me, like, what's due tomorrow, I'll be like, oof. And then it comes back to me. But with the racing thoughts, or like how your brain just literally can go from A to B to Z to 2 to 3. I was on the ride home with Kim one day and we were starting to talk. And then my brain, I verbally said this. I was like, I got to cut the grass. And then I was like, I got to really do this. And then I went so far into the future. I have to dismantle both patios because I have to redo the underlayment on it. And she looked at me. She's like, where did this come from? You were talking about like something completely not. So my brain just constantly goes. I can't sit still without thinking 400 different things that I have to do. So welcome to the club. It's a special club.
Or you get on like, that was why I got into the shop. I was looking at something. I'm like, oh, I could do that. I did that. I looked at something. Oh, I could do that. I did. And eventually led me into the shop. And I looked at that thing. I'm like, oh, I could do that. And then while that was doing that, I did the other thing. And then, yeah.
So I have craft fairs coming up and I had a lot of stuff that I got to do. I sat down yesterday and I worked on the laser all day because I had an order for these little air fresheners that I'm making. So they're solid
Air
wood.
fresheners.
Yeah. So they are solid wood. This is solid cherry.
We're Canadian now.
And
You said we're Canadian now. You're like, yeah.
yeah. So they're solid wood, and then I soak them in essential oils, and then they are an air freshener.
That's
nice, right?
That's ingenious, dude. Taking notes. Like, that's
So-
solid, man.
What else you got?
So this is how bad my brain was.
spice.
I know I have a ton of stuff to do for these craft fairs. I know I have flags due. I know I have tons of other stuff due. But I went down such a, no pun intended, rabbit hole of these air fresheners. I'm making air fresheners every design you can think of. Then my brain goes a little further. How can I reinvent the wheel? How can I make it better? What wood can I use? I literally looked at myself and I was like, what am I doing? I spent so much time not doing what I need to, but spent a lot of time doing something that's new
So,
because it's shiny.
Question.
so it's go ahead, Josh, go.
No, you finish yours. Go ahead.
So
Josh is excited.
so it's funny. You talk about like the new shiny thing, right? And I got
Mhm.
some shop talk on new shiny things, right? So I have a new shiny thing, but I have learned, you talk about ADHD, procrastination, all these things. So when Josh talks about, I think, okay, if I turn on this road, this, that, and the other, I think, okay, well, while I'm doing this, what can I be doing in that dead space, that time?
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm in here designing, something's cutting on the CNC, something's on the laser. That way I'm not wasting time, because what's going to happen is, while you're cutting your air fresheners, you could be designing or thinking of whatever the hell else is you're doing next. I have found myself in the past where it's like, ooh, new shiny thing. Let me go make this, completely disregard everything else. And after I'm done, I'm like, why the hell didn't I have something running in the background?
Yep.
So literally that is honestly something I've improved on, especially here in North Dakota, because the jobs were not flowing in as fast as they were in San Antonio. But now they are starting to flow in here in North Dakota. And I'm able to be like, okay, I have 57 of these to make. I got to cut them out. So I'm going to let these run on the CNC while I'm doing this over here on the drum sander, or cutting this for this podium, or this laser's going for whatever this job is. It's something's always moving when I'm moving over here. That is something that has changed, which has helped drastically, I think, with one, the procrastination piece, but two, also to make sure that, hey, yeah, I'm working on this cool new thing that someone wants me to make because I think it's cool and it's something I want to do currently right this minute, and meet the customer's needs, but also still meeting another customer's needs with the other customer that's over here. So that's just something that's changed, I think, in the recent past, since I've been making
busier
things.
We are, the better we are. The less we have to do, it doesn't really end well. That's one of the reasons I haven't started that one project. It's because, I know I can knock it out in a couple of days.
But I really want to knock this other thing out that might take me a little longer.
I do it all the time. Like, my wife will be like, aren't you supposed to be doing the other project that's due at the end of the week? I'm like,
You shut your mouth.
This one's better. I like this one. No.
Yeah.
Circling back before I forget to the air fresheners, why did you choose closed grain wood versus open grain wood? And
Oak sucks.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Well,
did you do any experimenting? What holds the scent better?
No, not at all. That's not how we roll at Crafted and NJ. You know what we do? We just, and you could bleep this
Full
out.
send.
We just send it.
Full send.
Yeah.
That's it. You know how many test cards I've done on the laser? None.
Man.
Nada.
Wasting
I just
30
run
seconds of my
a
life
file.
sending you an email. How dare you?
I just run a file. Oh yeah, no, I've never run one test card ever. The only thing I did was a ramp test, and then we're golden.
You know what though, man? You're doing great work though on the laser. Like, you ran your ramp test, you found your focal length, cool. And that rabbit, first of all, double-sided rabbit, and the fact that it's so accurate, that's impressive, right? Because,
and the hole.
Yeah, like that's good. Like, I'm like, hats off, good job. I'm glad you smelled it. I'm so happy you got into the laser, man. Like,
I know. Well,
it sat so long, and then
you guys were talking me out of it. I mean, I remember Josh said, you don't need a laser at all. And then he just said, like, why'd you even buy the OMTech? Yeah. It's not worth it. You don't do any kind of work. You just kind of suck over New Jersey.
I never said you sucked.
No, Josh, the guy that's down below.
Whatever he says is true. No fiction at all.
All I have to say is I know I say it every single time, but that laser really did open up a lot of different doors and possibilities. And why did I choose cherry? Well, because the very first one I ever made was out of cherry. No, I lie. Was it cherry? No, first one I made was out of walnut. Walnut, once it gets oiled, becomes darker. So I lost all the detail in it.
Yep.
So then I had some cherry laying around and it was thin. This is, I think, just under a 1/4 inch. And I had that laying around. I did a couple other ones. I actually made this because this is a Volkswagen Rabbit logo. So I made this for a buddy of mine who has 2 rabbits. And I also did his car, his exact car. I had somebody convert a picture of his car, and I did one for him like that. And he loves it. Cool. So I did those out of cherry. So I knew I was comfortable with cherry. The ones I just did recently for the Maker Camp, I did cherry, and I also did some cedar, regular cedar, not red aromatic cedar. It's the cedar I use for the flags.
Oh, okay.
But still, it's still cedar. But yeah, these are really, really nice. I was only doing them single-sided, but I just had an order for 30 of these little rabbits. But the guy has his logo in there because he's he puts on a car show down in Florida every year. So he said, I want to buy 30 of them. I gave him a price. He sent me over the money, and I just shipped them out today. And it is really, really cool. I also got bags and labels, and it really looks really professional.
AJ, I want you to try something for me. I know you're not a testing and R&D type of guy.
Nope. I won't test it.
I just had a thought. See what happens, because when we add pigments, we add liquid pigments to epoxy.
Okay.
I want you to take a thin, like etch your stuff a little deeper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make an epoxy scented piece. See if you can put the essential oils in epoxy and see if it holds the smell.
No, because it's going to cure and it's not going to do anything.
I don't know if it's going to...
I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it.
And it might not even cure right.
It might not cure right because of the oil. And top of that, I don't... Like you said, once it cures, that's why epoxy is so great. It holds all that stuff. It
I don't know. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it for the hell of it.
It might be scratch and sniff.
Even if you epoxy this and then put the oil on top of it, it's not going to have anything to soak into.
Well, right. It's just a thought. I mean, because you can sand epoxy and it opens it up, but I don't know. It was just
I would hope it's not opening it up because that means you have air pockets.
Okay, anyways, stupid thought. I just thought maybe. Trying to add color.
So yeah, anyway, these I had 2 people reach out. One guy ordered 30, another guy ordered a few more, and they're taking off pretty good. So I hope that I'm going to do more of them.
I actually really want to try that. I think it'd be cool to have North Woodworking and then have it for the truck.
Yeah, that's
Sex Panther works 60 or 100% of the time, 60% of the time.
Do the Panther and have that
saying. Real quick, Jason had something in the chat here. So going off what I said, how often do you plan your time in the shop? Like if you need to cut a bunch of stuff on the table saw, do you plan stuff for the CNC and laser while you're doing that?
I like to do chunks of things. Like if I get a whole batch of wood for flags, my brain needs to, just so I can satisfy my brain, I need to do all of it. I need to join it, cut it, glue it all at once. Every single piece that I have.
Same. I mean, I will do chunks of everything I can. Like if I have 3 projects and they require a table saw, I will try to cut all the pieces I can on the table saw so I don't have to go back to it. Same thing. Mm-hmm. And have the CNC going, doing something else, and have the laser going if I need it on there. That way, it cuts down job time.
how about you, Nap? And then I got a rebuttal question.
Okay, yeah. So honestly, like I said, coming to North Dakota, yeah, honestly, I've done more planning around. Okay, so like Josh and you guys go to bed thinking about things. I do too, and my thoughts center around mostly shop, not work. And I'll talk about that again more when I get into the last few minutes, so I can talk about my shop real quick. But yeah, I plan everything around what can I be doing to maximize my time. Like I took a 44 by 30 inch panel and I was drum sanding it while running stuff on the CNC. And then every time the CNC stopped, I'd go put the next piece on because I was doing production mode. I had everything set up to how I needed to cut and just throw the next blank in and let it cut while I was doing stuff on the drum sander. So I am always doing something. And then when I'm sitting there working on like the new shiny thing, and I think to myself, wait, why isn't my CNC running? Is there anything that can be on there? Laser, why isn't it running? Can anything be on there? And then I'll actually stop what I'm doing and be like, okay, I can go ahead and throw this in there. Even if I got to make the blanks real quick, I'll do that. And I'll throw the stuff in there, and then I'll continue working on the other shiny thing that I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do plan more. Yeah, because I'm more efficient that way. Yeah. Like right now, I've got a bunch of jobs going on at the same time in the shop currently. Stuff sitting now because I turned everything off coming on the podcast. But yeah, I have a bunch of stuff going on because I'm able to efficiently use my time, and I plan things in stages. Like you said, you batch things out or you do things in chunks. That's like I picked the chunk of things I was going to do, but prior to the podcast, I accomplished everything before I got on here because I planned out, okay, while this is happening, this is going to be happening. So,
well,
damn, what the question was about batching. Oh my.
I'll let you think of that and I'll add this comment real quick. That took time for us to learn. That is not something that we actually just did. I know in the beginning I'd do one thing at a time, and as you progress and how busy you are, you start learning how to not cut corners, but cut time in your projects and your layout. You are so busy right now, and that's why you're doing that. I mean, like you're trying to achieve more in less time. That's why I say we operate better when we have more to do and tighter timelines.
Yeah. Now, I don't know how big Nap Shop is. Josh, you're still kind of a little bit bigger than one car than you had.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. I got a couple more feet in the section. That's about it.
So all three of us like to do batch work. So if you could do all that stuff on the table so that you know that can be done, and then you can move on to the next step, even though it might not be the same project, but it requires the same tool. If you had a larger shop and you were able to put projects so they weren't in your way. Like I know my workbench is my outfeed. So as soon as my outfeed gets filled up with stuff, now I can't use the table saw. So I try to utilize it when my outfeed is open, get all that stuff done so I know I don't have to use it. If you had a larger shop that you could spread your work out, do you think you'd still try batching that stuff out?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the reason why is something that's come up in watching Daniel from PW and CNC, CNC do his work with his spindle kits. Mm-hmm. He batches things out, right? He does things in bins. There's something that's called a Kanban system or process. I essentially have established like a WIP limit, which is work in progress limit, what I can be accomplishing at those times, all at once in a specific or a specified period of time. Mm-hmm. And if I had a bigger shop, I think it would actually increase my work output because I'd be able to have those different stations. So like, okay, if I had a bigger shop, I'd have a specific table for this is my sanding station. This is the table that I do all my sanding on. This is the area where I do my outfeeds. Like you said, the outfeed. This is where I can do all my table saw work. My CNC's over here doing all this stuff. And if I had a large enough shop, I'd have a finishing like section, like a place where there's no dust, negative chamber, pulling the dust out while I'm working. All these things, I'd be able to literally be like, all right, so today's step is, okay, raw lumber to things I need to make, whether it be like 4x6 or that's a random measurement, obviously, but like different size pieces. I'll cut everything down. Cool. This stuff's done in the station. Let's go to assembly. Okay, assembly's here. Done. Okay, all these 7-8 projects that are done with assembly. Okay, let's go to sanding and finishing. Boom. And then those stations would happen. If I had a larger shop, efficiency would increase because I'd have the room to do more. Like it's just what it is. Now, would it take longer? Sure. Instead of doing one project cradle to grave, yeah, okay. I think you're more efficient if you're able to do things in those batched out or stepped processes than if you're just taking up your outfeed because you had to use your table saw for it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think bigger shop, I think that means more efficiency. However, means more mess, which means a long cleanup.
Yeah, but if you're able to do all your sanding in one spot, now you can just worry about just that area, having to be a mess. And like you were saying, you can. Josh just threw me off real quick because he looks so sexy. Sorry. So instead of having to do, let's say now you have signs that you just got to do, regular old signs. Now you already have that wood all milled up, ready to go. So all you got to do is just chop it. So you already did all your batch work kind of on the back end that set you up for the front end. Because now, I got to get a sign. You don't have to go, now I got to joint it, mill it, plane it, sand it. Now that's all done. So I think in a bigger shop, you can have where, like in my case, I can have, all my blanks all done, ready to be carved. I could do then, I know I got to do cornholes. I got to do all my frames, all the decks. Yep. So I could have them at different stages. So in my small shop, I'm so packed with stuff. I don't have that luxury of having those pieces I can just pull out of the bin, like you were saying. Now, if we were doing small stuff like a spindle kit or something like that, bin systems are great for that because I could understand. You have all your parts, pull it. Now you can just start batching out 10, 20 different spindles. In our cases, because we're dealing with not just small little laser items, but bigger things, it gets a little bit tricky trying to, work around all that stuff. So in a bigger shop, you could have all that stuff stocked up in your inventory ready for those jobs.
I have nothing to add. That's exactly what I mean. Between Nap and AJ, like you guys hit the nail on the head. We would actually be better at what we're trying to achieve just because you have places to put things. Because like AJ and Nap both hit on, when we're batching things out, I have to, like, if I do, let's say 10 plaques, I'll be batching those out and have a stack of 10 plaques. Now I got to move those plaques from that space because I have to go over here, do that. And then it's on the outfeed table, but then I have to cut something. So I have to move that somewhere else to increase the chances of getting it damaged. And it's just having space to put things, not necessarily because flat surfaces, you know what I'm saying?
My flat surfaces would be screwed.
Nice, right? And I actually built the shop to achieve that. I haven't had to use it yet, right? But I have a large open area between my CNC, miter saw, and my actual table saw where I can put an additional spot for things and kind of work around that. And along the door, one of the big reasons I wanted to be able to close that door and operate with, all the dust and everything else and minimize it was I could actually put a sawhorse up there. And, I have this old, 4x8 sheet of plywood I found on the side of the road that has so many layers on there. It's pretty much waterproof at this point. I put it on there and I can actually put things and set things there. And I try to achieve that bigger shop feel and layout with what I have. So, yes, lessons have been learned. We all know, bigger shops and how they would help. But even with our smaller shops, if planned accordingly and right, you can kind of hit on that a little bit. Over to you, AJ.
I see. I saw that question that you sent in from Jason. But when I carve flags, I like to do them in batches. So I carve outside. So I'm, not far. I'm probably at least like maybe 50 feet from my laser. I don't want to have the worry of, let me go carve. 5 minutes later, let me go check on the laser, make sure it's not on fire, go back to carving. So it would be a lot of wasted time for me to keep walking back and forth. So when I carve I do as many as I can, as many as I humanly and physically can, because my wrists start killing me, my back starts killing me. If they're small sizes and 2-foot flags, I could probably do at least maybe 5, 6, 7 of them at a time. Once I get into more details, then that's why my carvings, if you ever noticed, after I get a rough carve and a rough sand, they're still very rough, because I try carving them as quick as possible. I don't know how I haven't burnt up grinders yet, because I'm pushing these things like they're hurting. They get smoking hot and my hands start burning and whatnot. But to answer the question, I don't let anything else run when I'm carving, because I'm outside most of the time.
So waste cameras for like $1.
I got to look at my phone.
No, what I'm trying to get at is you can actually set it up so like if there's a fire or anything that happens, it will actually alert you. And then you don't really have to look at your phone. It will just be like, hey, there's a fire, or hey, there's movement past the normal. And you can set it up that way so you can go ahead and utilize it. Would you ever feel comfortable with that setup, or is it something just not going to happen?
No, probably not. Just because, especially if I'm carving. Once I'm carving, I want to stay outside and just get them knocked out. I don't want to have to worry about now walking back inside, checking on the laser, even if nothing's wrong, but coming in, like if I know the carve is going to take 45 minutes, even 45 minutes later, that scared the hell out of me, because I didn't know what the hell was going across my screen.
It's not that hairy.
Oh man, I thought it was. But I just don't want to have to check on anything. Now, once I'm in the shop, if I'm there, I'm comfortable with it, because I leave my one door open and I could just walk back and forth. It's literally 10 steps. But once I'm carving, I'm kind of in this mindset of I need to get it done. I don't want to have to do this because my back is going to start hurting. So let me get it done as quick as I can, and then just try batching them out. So the camera thing, the thing is, I might not respond to it, because I might just be like, it's somebody texting me, and not look, now I got to stop. Now I'm covered in sawdust. My phone is covered in sawdust. I know it sounds like excuses, but
that's what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
More of a peace of mind type thing.
Yeah. The only thing I was thinking about was I have my new security camera system. What I'm thinking is to add one in the back by the CNC and laser. That way, if I'm upstairs, I could just keep an eye on it. Same thing like you were talking about the ways.
So you don't have security there yet?
No, I have it everywhere else, though.
Fair enough.
I could see you coming in.
Never mind. Anyway.
Didn't we have another question that you wanted to hit on real quick?
There are plenty of questions, but I honestly think we need to hit on Nap's shop. He has some things that he needs to get off his chest.
We get to the next episode if we have to. I mean, it's fine.
No. Nap. You got to tell the UPS story minimum.
Okay, so a lot of jobs going on. Talked a lot about batching. Yes, I made 57 plaques. That number was not made up. I have 57 plaques that have been carved, sitting up against the CNC currently. Batched all 57 of them out in 2 days. If it was on my Shipoko, it wouldn't have been like that. Honestly, the Onefinity has been a godsend as far as reliability is concerned. Sorry, Josh. What I can say that is real quick to hit on your thing. If I had the ATC, which is soon to be released, I think I'm gonna tell you right now, the amount of progress I'd make in the shop would be more than what it is now.
One quick question: don't you have little ATCs running around? Can't you just hire them?
I do, but he's not there yet. He's just not there yet.
Kid, change this when it stops.
Yeah, right. And then he doesn't tighten the collet, and then just things go crazy. But no, so I got that. I have a 3D Maltese cross sign to make for somebody that's graduating the fire academy. I also have another shadow box order to fulfill by mid-October, mimicking the shadow box I just sent out. And the story with that goes is I packaged the hell out of this thing, and I put do not stack, all these things, fragile stickers, all the things, and it still got damaged. So the very top point of the chevron shadow box that I made got damaged, And luckily for me, so I use Shippo. I didn't use UPS's BS insurance that they give you that they never pay you for because, if we didn't pack it, we don't pay for it. I submitted all the stuff for the claim, pictures of the packaging, pictures of the damage, the invoice that I sent with them. They reimbursed me for the entire shadow box.
Wow.
And the guy actually got it fixed by somebody local.
Wow.
So the shadow box that needed to be sent back to me, I approved, quote unquote, approved the work because he showed me. I was like, oh, wow, he did exactly what I would have done. So sweet. He asked me for the color of stain. He asked me for the type of lacquer I used, all the stuff. Like this guy that helped fix this, he obviously knew what he was doing because he was like, okay, what are the things he did? How did he do this? How did he do that? He fixed it. Customer's happy. And then on top of that, I got refunded for the entire thing through Shippo. Through their insurance. So if you use Shippo and use their insurance, I'm going to tell you right now, as long as you don't abuse the system, I'm sure if I were to claim something in another week or two, which should not happen, but if that does happen, they probably wouldn't be so quick to refund. But no, they refunded the entire amount. And I will disclose the amount. They disclosed the entire shadow box and shipping, which was $453.32. They refunded the entire thing.
Wow.
So the customer got their money back, even though they got it fixed. It worked out for both of us. I didn't have to pay money out of my pocket. Everything worked out great. But what I can tell you is UPS, read the damn signs on the damn box.
They
do not stack. Do not stack the fucking box. Sorry. Do not stack the freaking box. Okay. But they did that and it actually protrudes, they punctured the box. I don't know how they did this, but they did. I'm probably going to up my shipping game. I'm going to start putting 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch pieces of plywood around the edges for shadow boxes to mitigate damage to the sides because that seems to be where a lot of the damage occurs. So yeah, I'm going to do that. So there's that little story. And then I got an interesting order for some folks in an Airmen's Council. It's like one of those things, a little private order that they put together to help for the airmen and whatnot. And I got 9 of these plaques to make. And then I have the new shiny thing. So I was playing around with this barrel. This is an F-15E barrel. Okay. This is part of it.
I'm sorry. Who?
A Strike Eagle aircraft gun barrel. This is fired rounds out of it. Okay. It's a D-milled. As you can see, it's got a whole notch out of it and like half of it's missing. But the one that I have is full. And the project was, can you make an F-15 silhouette that we can hang this on? I said, yeah, sure.
Huh.
So I went through, did the whole thing. I found an SVG online of the blueprint of the top of it. A close blueprint. It's not like super detailed, but it's enough to know like, hey, this is what it kind of looks like on top. I'm going to V-carve all of that out and I'm going to stain it. I'm going to epoxy it with a really light epoxy. Put a not stained piece of oak. It's out of oak. I'm sorry. It's out of oak. And I'm going to engrave the wording that they want on there, all the things. It's got hangers on it. And I actually engineered something for the hangers because this is roughly 25 pounds, I think is what the barrel weighs. And these hangers have to support it. So I'm actually going to show you guys real quick just because I'm super proud of this. And, just got to share. Screen and window. And there it is. Okay. So we're going to share this guy real quick, and then we'll end my shot. So this is the F-15 plaque that I'm making. This is that 44 by 30 inch panel that I made. So it's going to carve all this out, and it's going to, etch the lines. So we're actually going to do this, and we're going to go to the preview, and we're going to reset the preview. So preview all sides. So it's going to do its thing. Cool. Yay. And okay. So get rid of that. So obviously, this is the front. Okay. The hangers are going to go here and here. And you'll notice that it's not all the way through for the entire thing because there's a lip that's going to be a part of the mechanical hold. And then there's the rest of the wood that goes through. And that's where the plaque's going to go. But then on the back, okay, you're going to notice that there's a cross member piece here. So when those pieces go through, there's a notch cut out that's 0.375 inches deep. So when it is put in, I'm going to be able to take a 1/4 or a 0.375, so a 1/4 plus 1/8, I'm going to take a piece of wood strip, and I'm actually going to make anchor points. So where the black is, there's going to be a screw in each one of those anchor points, and then a screw that goes through the actual mount itself with wood glue. So it's going to add a little more surface area, a little more structure, a little more structural integrity, if you will. And then that's what's going to hold those in. And this right here is the recess for my metal French cleat. That's going to have a 75-pound weight limit. So the piece will probably weigh roughly, once the barrel's installed, probably around 45 pounds ish, because the barrel's heavy. And it's going to sit across the wings right here. And then the word plaque's going to be right here with this black piece here. And that's a recess that's in there.
So for those who can't see it, so you have two pockets. The plane is facing up, and now you have two pockets, one on each wing. And on the backside, can you show the holder that you're going to make for the barrel?
Yep, it's
well,
right
is it
here.
just like a D?
So it's this hole is going to change because this one right here is for those that can't see. I'm sorry, but on the barrel, the diameter of that first hole that's highlighted is this diameter here. The other diameter is going to be the tip of the barrel. So they're going to slide it in from left to right.
Okay.
When they put it in.
So those are going to drop in. I'm a little lost on it, but I get it kind of. So those are going to drop into the wings, and then on the backside, you said you're going to have a piece of wood across it?
Yeah, so when this goes in, these tabs here, they fit the full thickness of the plane. Okay, and then there's like those two black spots I showed you right here.
Oh.
If I zoom in. So it's going to sit in, and the wood's going to contact here and here, but the teeth are going to go all the way through. At which point, on the backside, when you see the teeth, those teeth, I'm just going to
they're going to protrude out. You're going to put the piece of wood across. So you're going to go like this, and then you're going to go across and then screw it down. Yep. And so you're going to screw the cross piece to the wing, plus you're going to screw to that D ring. Okay.
And then
why did you do it this way?
So I have no real particular reason. I just knew that if this particular piece was just glued, mind you, wood glue is super strong. Okay, it is. But if you have some kind of mechanical hold and some hardware that are also giving you additional reinforcement, I feel like it was just going to be more structurally sound, and it just you won't have an issue with that barrel just one day falling off the wings.
No, trust me, I love the over-engineering about it. I was just, I was almost wondering, why didn't you just do two small pockets with a hole in the center, drop your two pegs in, and then just two screws from the back? Like, trust me, this is amazing. I love this. And you said you were using a 75-pound French cleat. My brain automatically went to, I'm going to have to use 300-pound French cleat because the barrel's going to magically get heavier over time. Yeah. The wood is going to get heavier. Somebody's going to hang from it. So the over-engineering is badass.
So the reason why I did it this way was just because of the amount of space I had to work with on top of that.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Because, I mean, realistically, I only have like this small space. Any larger, any other engineering, I think, would probably take more brain power. I think what you're saying would have worked just as well. This is what just came to mind immediately.
I like this because you're sandwiching it between more surface. So my idea, you have less surface area. Your idea, you have different points of contact, which is now it's in the shape of a T for those who can't see it. So you're getting it horizontally and vertical, where you're going to have a lot of securement. So I like it. It's really, really cool. Now, for my own question or my own brain thought is, how are you going to engrave the back and the front and make sure that you're in the same exact spot so that everything lines up?
So to make a long story short, if I ensure, because the flip job, because in Aspire, or any Vectric, honestly, you can do what's called a flip, and you can do it in Carveco, you can do it in easel, all these things. There's double-sided jobs. So that's what I set this up for, is a double-sided job.
Okay.
And I made it to where it's going to flip on the horizontal axis, not vertical. So it's going to sit 44 wide by 30 tall. So when I carve the front, I'm going to flip it. And as long as my panel is exactly what I say it is and I don't change my zero, it's gonna know where to go.
Okay. That makes sense. That's pretty cool.
The setup time is what honestly makes this work. Honestly, you take the time, you set it up, you make sure everything's what it needs to be, and it works out great.
You just don't send it and just hope.
Yeah, no. Not with this, because I only have enough oak to do this once. So,
okay, that's cool.
But yeah, so that's what's going on in the shop. Those are all the things. My UPS story. A lot of good conversation, especially with the whole being able to operate and do many things at once. Hey, Ben. Yeah. So that's really about it. I mean, a lot of good questions. Thank you for the chat, Jason, and everyone else that had contributed to this episode. But on that, unless you guys have anything else, we could probably start wrapping this guy up. Because what's up, Josh?
Well done, man. That's actually pretty impressive work that I just saw. Outside the box, well thought. You thought of, different ways to go about it. That if you don't subscribe to our Patreon and didn't get to see that, and maybe we could post that as a reel on the page, because I think everyone should see that little tidbit that you just did. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it really was.
I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. Now get off your high horse.
I am. I'm already off.
Damn.
It's fine.
As soon as Josh was like, you did a great job, I could see Nap like, yeah?
Straightening up.
How great of a job.
But what I can tell you folks that didn't see this, that will probably see it on the page, I will make a video and I will put it up.
Yeah, definitely.
If you asked me to make something like this 3-4 years ago when I first started this, I wouldn't have thought of this. It took a little extra thought to over engineer, as AJ said, to make that happen. Now, mind you, if this works out the way I think it's going to work out, it opens doors.
Oh yeah.
So I'm excited to see what else I can make, and how this progresses.
Real quick. Speaking of over engineering, Josh remembers this. I made coin rack flags, and I don't know if he recalls. I don't know. I think it was a 36-inch wide flag, and on one strip, I probably used about 10 or more screws. Dude, the back was littered with screws. I used screws and glue for coins.
Jesus.
To be fair, I don't know about you guys, but when I started this whole journey and people said that wood glue was as strong as it was, I really was pretty doubtful.
It is when you squeeze it all out.
Funny. No, seriously. If you're new and you're kind of, you're not sure about wood glue and you want, just try it. Take some wood, glue it together, try to break it apart. You're going to find that the glue section is not going to be what breaks. It's going to be something else. And it took me a couple of times in the beginning to realize that and trust that system. Now, do we also secure things a little further? Absolutely. Nap's doing it. AJ really did it. But I mean, that's okay, because at the end of that project, you gave a product that was more than it, needed to be, but it's going to work.
Oh yeah.
So, go with it. Live and learn.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah,
Josh is angry.
Giving the signal. We went a little late, but hey, it was a good episode. So, hey, folks, if you guys listen to this episode, there was quite a bit of good tips, tidbits, and lessons learned. There was a lot of good stuff as far as production is concerned. A lot of small shops have a hard time with production. We don't have the luxury of large shops. A lot of IG members that I follow that have large shops, and hell, even they sometimes probably struggle with efficiency. But really, it comes with time. It comes with growth. It comes with confidence in what you're doing. And that's what it is in the maker world. It's just confidence and being able to make it through the things we deem maybe difficult, because at first it will be, and then it just becomes second nature. I'm just going to say congratulations to the granddaughter that's coming soon for Ben. Awesome. And you can get them candy, not Zane. But if you haven't been following us, very much, but you just recently started, make sure you go take a listen to all the other episodes because there's a lot of good stuff throughout those episodes between lessons learned on using epoxy, CNCs, lasers. We talk a lot about that stuff, but hey, we always did something a little different. And even if you don't hear it in those episodes, you'll hear it in the most recent episodes. Keep making the community stronger, and we will go ahead and finish with final words, starting with AJ.
Final words is whoever's listening to this, and it doesn't matter when, but first 5 people who message me, and they have to message me a code word. They have to message me ADHD. I'll send them a SAWDUST Nation air freshener in their scent of choice.
Ooh.
Not for you guys. It's just for the first 5 people. Not including Nap and
Too
Josh.
Late. Timestamp.
But yeah,
okay.
Truly. And final words is thank you for having me on once again. Thank you for letting me ramble. Thank you for letting me go down the rabbit hole, and hope to be back on soon.
Heck yeah, man. Josh?
I honestly love this podcast because we can go down a rabbit hole, and we could plan a whole episode, but we let it flow naturally enough where we could talk about different things, and hopefully people out there can relate to them. Because honestly, this is like a working class podcast where sometimes we get really real into it. Last episode was something very similar to that. You had 2 very tired people that just wanted to talk woodworking and shop and stuff like that. So if you didn't like the last episode, we do apologize. Hopefully you like, the rest of them. But it's just the reality of how things are sometimes, right? And talk about reality. Well, let's dive into this real quick. We do a giveaway at the beginning of the month. Usually it's the first Tuesday of the month, unless otherwise specified. 7 Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. Anyone can join as long as they subscribe to our channel and are present as we try to give away these gifts. And it ranges from, cheaper side of things, sometimes sanding block, sandpaper, to sometimes more expensive things. It really depends on how things are going. We try to alternate here and there, and you're going to have to wait and see for our next giveaway what we have planned, and I think it's going to be a good one. So hopefully we'll see you there. And if you're not sure how to get there, you're not really good on YouTube, but you're on Instagram, you can always check out our link tree. I put the link in there. I do my best to make sure I update that, and it's currently ready to go. So you can subscribe, click the thumbs up, the bell, wherever, and get ready for that. AJ, thank you for joining us again. Always a pleasure to have you on, man. I love how the conversation flows when you're here. And hopefully everyone gets a chance and some time to get into their workshop, shop, what have you, and go make some sawdust. And with that, SAWDUST Nation podcast out.